The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the field.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so happy that you are here with me today. I am excited about my guests. We are going to be talking about the anthology regarding our veteran women. And I'm excited to have the visionary here with us today. And Miss Vaughn, how are you today? Hi, how are you today?
Hey, greetings, Miss Vera. I am doing wonderfully well. Thank you for asking. And how are you?
I am blessed and I am so honored that you are here with your authors. And I want you to take a few minutes and share with the audience one, a little bit about Vaughn. Two, what inspired you to create this anthology?
Well,
And we're
I
having
had been a co-author in yes. Uh-oh.
go ahead.
Did I lose connection?
You're
As I was stating, I have been a co-author. Did I lose
yeah,
connection?
yeah, you're losing connection. Um, you're breaking up. So try talking again. Well, you know what? We're going to come back to you, and I am going to bring up Miss Tanya Ma. Am I pronouncing? How do you pronounce your last name? Mia.
Mile, like dial, but with the letter M.
Oh, okay, Mio. Okay, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you for
I-
the opportunity.
And I'm going to give you the floor, and I want you to just share with our audience a little bit about Tanya and what inspired you to be a part of this anthology.
Thank you again for the opportunities for Vaughn to have this vision to do this. One of the main things that inspired me, I am an only child, and I entered the Air Force with my daughter and her non residential father. And one of the most important things for my mom was to make sure my daughter was safe, secured, and was taken care of. And so the NEO plan became very important to me. And so I created a domestic NEO plan for my home. And I wrote about that in my chapter, as well as I had my daughter prior to the military. I am a nurse by trade, and the military messed up my paradigm by informing me that I'm an officer before I'm a nurse. And I am a nurse who just happened to be in the Air Force. And they were like, no, 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 no. So my chapter, Identity Crisis, just talks about how that identity crisis really, there was episodes or opportunities where I had to really toe the line and I deal with those titles and roles. And so my chapter is called Identity Crisis.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. And that's something I want us to kind of talk about is how systems try to put us in boxes when we have a career already before you even got into the military. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to bring up Juanita. Hello, Juanita. How are you today?
Well, good evening. I'm doing wonderfully, and thank you for having us. It's quite an opportunity to be able to discuss this topic.
Well, I am so happy that you're here, and I'm going to give you the floor to share a little bit about Juanita and what inspired you to be a part of this anthology.
Well, first of all, what inspired me is the fact that, to be honest, I wasn't sure I was ready to tell my story publicly. Vaughn actually inspired me to move forward and to share. And really, the foundation for it was the fact that, being homeless, my chapter focuses on taking only thing that's of value to us. Was the fact that, I was homeless with 6 children, and the
Oh,
system
wow.
isn't. Yes, and the system wasn't set up to be able to support a woman veteran with children. So the fact that Vaughn really just stressed the need to share and to really bring to fruition the idea that there's more of us out here, and the studies that are showing right now are not showing, real numbers. The demographics are changing and our numbers are increasing. So the inspiration really was in hopes that my story would inspire another sister in arms, that silence is not strength. Asking for help is strength. And you're not just asking it for yourself, you're asking it for your children as well.
Oh, wow. Homelessness is a major issue, and military families are now witnessing that, probably even more so than even before. So I really appreciate you being here and sharing that story. And we're going to talk more about that as we move forward. And let me see if Vaughn, do we have a better connection now, Miss Vaughn? I don't think so. Okay. And you're the
Well, I
visionary.
hope that we do.
Yes, we need you to talk. You're the visionary.
You know what? But look, I'm the visionary on the road, and I don't own this internet system. I'm at the mercy of the embassy suites coming in to you from San Diego. So I've gone downstairs, I've called downstairs. There's absolutely nothing they can do to the
Well,
route. So I tell you what, if it fades again, then just keep it moving, Miss Vera. But yes, I am Vaughn. You're a visionary author of this project. And again, thank you for sharing your platform with us, Miss Vera, and even having the interest to talk to the co authors.
oh, that is awesome. Well, you've got great stories to tell. And I am just looking forward to hearing more about these stories. I am going to now pull up Miss Chelsea. Hello, Miss Chelsea. How are you today?
Doing fantastic, and I am so thankful to have made it back in. I'm having technical difficulties, so it kicked me off on my computer, but I'm able to get back on my phone, so my screen's different now.
Oh,
But
okay. Well, what I would love, well, thank you for being here. And I would love for you to share with our audience what inspired, a little bit about Chelsea first, and then what inspired you to be a part of this anthology.
my name is Chelsea Lael Kennedy, and I'm a co-author of Her War II. I am a founder of EEL, a personal and corporate wellness company aimed at elevating individuals so that the collective can also heal through yoga principles of mindfulness, breathwork, and mindful movement, with an environmental focus of creating hemp fiber processing infrastructure to allow hemp to be an agricultural commodity in our home and residences, from building structures to everyday essentials such as clothing, plastics, and returning career opportunities to displaced workers and communities.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm excited, right? The yoga and the mindfulness has been my journey into recovery through military sexual trauma, which I wasn't sure I was ready to start talking about that, but Vaughn, that she made it okay to talk about it and encouraged and inspired. And honestly, I had asked a bunch of my other sisters that I know had served. I'm like, hey, you should write in this book. You should write in this book. And I got no takers. And with that nudge and encouragement from Vaughn to pick up the pen, I did, and I'm really grateful to have done so.
Well, I
My
am,
oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my chapter is called "The Journey Continues."
Well, I am just honored. And, people don't understand what women go through, be it in the military, be it throughout life. And for you to have the courage, it took courage for you to write your story. It took courage for each of you to write your story. And so, Vaughn, for you having the vision, but then being able to encourage these women to share their stories. That means so much. And I know they are forever indebted to you that you have given them their voice. And so, with that, I am going to pull up Miss Levita. Ooh, I'm hearing that noise. Okay. Um, okay, she's gonna need to come back. Okay. Well, I am going to now. I was letting Mitchlina come in last because she's got a poem that she's going to be sharing. And I want her to kind of set the tone. So hello, Mitchlina. How are you?
Micheline.
Mitchlina. I keep messing up your name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Mitchlina.
yeah. Thank you again. This is a true moving honor for me to be part of this moment, and not only that, being part of her war too. I was in the first volume, and I have to honestly say, it was the persistency of Vaughn. So it was. And then the second one, after doing the first one, I wasn't really going to do this second one. I thought I'd give it the time for everybody else. But other than that, it's a voice where a lot of us do have to, if we open up those avenues, because I'm a MST survivor as well as dealing with PTSD. And my story is about not fitting in with society as a Native American, as a woman, and a minority. So that was a struggle in the military as well. So my story is called A Warrior's Cry. And that's because living on and off the reservation, I just didn't fit anywhere at all. And then in the military, I felt the same way. But at the end of my my story, I actually wrote a poem, and I'm not a poet at all. It was just kind of something I threw in. And it says, no one sees my pain, the struggles of not fitting in anywhere, the inner battles I carry daily within, sometimes too much to bear. I cry in silence to evade the ridicule of society's lack of understanding. I put on my outward armor of strength to show that I'm still standing. My heart aches for the comrades lost in an unjust war, coming home to a people that expect more and more. History illustrates the countless times to eliminate my kind, but our spirit has overcome time after time, continuing to fight the battle of racism towards me, not even considered a race, but a political entity. No matter how hard I work or try, no one sees this warrior's cry.
Oh my God, that is absolutely beautiful, so touching. And let me say this to you. You are a poet. You are a poet. Oh my God, that was absolutely beautiful, beautiful. And you outlined your experience so poignantly. It is just amazing. It's beautiful. Absolutely. Never tell yourself you're not a poet. Never tell you need to write more. Oh my God. Absolutely beautiful. You have that gift. You have that gift. And we have someone. Okay. Ebony. She says, salute, she rose. Yes, yes. Thank you, Ebony, for being here. And now we're going to see if I'm okay. I'm hearing that background again. Okay.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Is this Levita?
This is Levita. Yes.
Okay, Levita, we've got some sound coming on, and you do need to show your face if at all possible.
I am having some technical issues trying to get my flyer up, and And so that's what I've been trying to work on in the background.
Okay, now we don't hear that noise. So if you would like to share with us, well, I really want you to share with your face. So why don't we have you, when I see your face, then I'll have you introduce. Okay?
Okay. I'll just
All
try
right.
to leave the studio and log back in and try that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Now, ladies, you've got stories that you need to share. And I would love to kind of talk about, these are the things that we've covered so far. Oh my God, someone from South Africa is on listening to us. Oh my goodness. She says, hello from South Africa. Love to the host and the great women at the Vera Thomas Show. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, I'm honored. Oh, I'm honored. Thank you. So, and can you kind of put your name in so I know who's listening, please? Thank you. All right. Now, so far, let me recap what I've heard. I heard a mother who came into the military as a nurse, and they indicated to her that you are something else before you are a nurse, even though you went into the military, if I'm not mistaken, thinking that that would be a part of your service. Am I correct on that, Tanya?
You are. The profession of nursing, I consider it to be like a huge buffet, and military nursing is just one item on the buffet. But I learned quickly that I am an officer first, and I just happened to serve as a nurse. And there have been times where I was a mother third. And so that created a really big paradigm shift in my identity. That's why I entitled my chapter as Identity Crisis.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us. And I know we're not going to have you share your chapter in terms of tell us everything that's in the book because we want people to read the book. But these topics are so pertinent to what's going on in our society today that we really need to kind of touch on it because it's so important. Homelessness is a major issue. And we have the hidden homeless that people don't see. And those are people that are sleeping on other people's couches or living at a motel. And with the housing rent crises right now, it has expanded beyond measure. And it's unbelievable that people are so not concerned about people's lives. I get overly excited, but let me say, and we have another comment coming in. Okay, I thought it might have been Tasiki. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. And it's 2:17 a.m. there. Oh my God, you're taking the time to. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am honored. Tasiki has a show as well that is really powerful. And you might want to get on her show as well. I'll give you the connection. Awesome. Okay, so we're talking about homelessness right now. And to be a mother with children coming out of the military and the military not being there for you to provide the kind of support that you need. America, I cry for you. We've got to do better. We've got to do better. So, Juanita, my
Yes.
heart goes out to you, and I want you to, not without giving everything that's in the book, because I want people to read the book. But is there some things that you can share about that experience that may be above and beyond what you have in the book?
You know, the one thing that I hope people walk away from the book is that somewhere along the line, it seemed like, so I'm all natural today. So today's one of those natural
Well,
days.
you're beautiful.
My hope is that people realize that somewhere along the line, we took an oath of silence, and it wasn't intended to be enforced, right? And that oath is, whether it's culture, whether it's military, whether it's your commitment to your service, the one oath that you need to break is silence. For me, is the fact that, being a Marine, you're taught that failure is just not an option. Our core values is honor, courage, and commitment. But where's the honor in teaching your children to lie because you're homeless? Where's the courage on not asking for help and the commitment to keep my children safe? Again, share with someone. We've all talked about, a kitchen table cabinet. And for those who don't understand what a kitchen table cabinet is, those 3 entrusted sisters, friends, colleagues, whoever they are, that tell you exactly how it is, when it is, and what you need to do. They don't sugarcoat it for you, and they stand by you no matter what. My hope is that my story reaches my sisters, and look to your children. Just because you're homeless, you didn't fail. There are certain things, that came across, your path that were beyond control. I didn't do anything wrong. It was the economy, losing our job, lack of some, income. You can't take full responsibility for everything, but you can take full responsibility to make the changes. So, and being homeless doesn't make you a failure. You just discovered one way that it didn't work. So stand up, ask for help, and teach your children that you have the strength to recover and rebuild. You have the resiliency in you. You got it from the military. You got it from your culture. And I'm going to use what we've been told. Look to your right and look to your left. Your sisters are there. Your true sisters who will be in the same foxhole to support you are there. You got to talk to them.
And you know what? First, and I was remiss in saying to each of you, thank you so much for serving. God bless you for serving, because it wasn't anything that you had to do. So thank you so much for serving. And homelessness, I've experienced it myself. And so I know the humiliation, how other people perceive you, when it was not anything that you could have done about the economic situation that you found yourself in. So I just want people to understand there needs to be more done to help homeless families, in particularly families with children. Fine. Oh.
Vera, we're not asking for a handout. We're asking for a hand up. Just like we built it in the military, we want to continue rebuilding out here as we transition back into civilian life.
Amen. 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 And Mitchleen, did I say it right? Okay. Mitchleen, you being a Native American, and with all the things that happen to Native Americans, for you to still want to serve this country, that says so much. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And absolutely, I would love to host these. Okay, you got another appointment, ladies. Fantastic. Thank you. And with you being a Native American, and you talked about living on the reservations, what made you decide to serve?
Well, I come from a family of veterans, and that's just something that I think you see a lot of Native Americans do, because Native American, we're the highest ethnic group that serves in the military, and often too many times are kind of more or less forgotten. Like I say, We're not a race. We're actually classified as a political entity, and that's what I had put in my poem. But it's just, I've been asked that many times, and I'm like, well, I fight for what is left of what lands we have. And we look at it, we call it Turtle Island. And I think we just look at the fact that it's still here. We're fighting for what freedoms that so many take for granted. I mean, that's just all across the board. And then we just got back from the Washington, D.C. for the Native American Veterans Memorial that finally came after so many years of trying to get it done. And we actually let in, I think, over 2,000 Native Americans, because Native American Memorials, I'm the president and founder, and we're actually the first all-female Native American color guard. And our platform is to be a voice for our Native women veterans, because I think it's just something across the board that where our male counterparts get a lot of recognition and we're kind of like forgotten. Already we have to overcome a lot of stereotypes. But as far as fighting for a country that caused so many hardships for my people, I tell people, I look at fighting for what the United States stand for, and that's united. When can we come back together as a nation? And if you look at our outfits, a lot of people ask us about our outfits and their jingle dresses. And jingle dress is Ojibwe, and it's a healing dress. And it's a prayer dress and a dance of healing. So I was like, not only do we have to heal as veterans, but we have to heal as a nation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And congratulations on being honored in the National Smithsonian Magazine.
Yeah.
Let's give her a hand, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes. Congratulations. Such an honor.
Yes.
And you're right. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh.
And we got to get to that. We're far from it right now.
Oh, yeah, that is so true. Because you look at society. I mean, coming back from war, and then one thing that I think a lot of us have in common is just the fact that they'll give reverence to a male versus a female right away. I could be walking with my shirt that says I'm a veteran, a hat that says a veteran, and they all stare at me, and I get the dirty looks, and they just kind of walk past me. But a guy just wears a shirt, they're patting him on the back. So I think that's where my voice comes into play. And my sister always said, well, Mitch, you got a big mouth. You're finally using it for something good.
Well, thank God for you. And please keep writing.
Okay.
Keep writing. And especially your poetry is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Really, I mean that. I'm a poet, so I really appreciate what you wrote. Now, ladies, I am going to shut my mouth and just let you just share what's on your hearts right now. Well, let's see if Lavita is better now. Hello, Lavita. Unmute yourself.
Hello. Can you guys see my background now?
We're not gonna. We see we just see a screen, but we're not gonna worry about it. What I'm gonna ask you to do is share with us, one, what inspired you to be a part of this anthology, and just share a little bit about your story.
All righty. Well, I just love technology. I want to put that out there now.
Don't we all?
I love technology. I'm speaking positive. I'm putting it out there. But my name is Lavita, and I am a retiree Air Force spouse living here in the United Kingdom. I've lived here for over 30 years now. And what inspired me to join in the anthology, Her War II, From Trial to Triumph, it was my experience that I had while getting my master's degree. My chapter is called It's for the Next Generation. And so that is really why I wrote it and who I wrote it for. My objective was just to bring more awareness on topics that have affected myself as well as others in the world, such as racism, systemic racism, biases, injustices, and I just wanted to get the communication going. We've had during George Floyd, as we all are aware, that had the whole world talking about racism, but it's kind of dimmed down a little bit. And so I shared my story for the next generation. When it happened to me, I didn't know the resources that we had available for us. But in my chapter, I do list some resources for the next generation. God forbid it should happen to them. So thank you.
That's awesome. Let me ask you. So did you leave our country because of racism?
No, we were actually stationed here in 1989, and we retired over here.
Okay.
Yes,
All
we
right.
retired here because we're ministers as well, and that's why one reason why we stayed over here.
Okay, and where exactly are you?
We're in the United Kingdom, in England, near Cambridge. I don't know.
Okay.
Yes, in
Never
Suffolk.
been there, but and
Well,
come
on over. It's a lot of fun, and I mean, our police over here do not carry guns over here.
And you know what? Speaking of which, there are countries where that holds true. The Amsterdam, I understand. The police, they don't carry guns. So just imagine here in this country, if we got rid of guns. Don't get me started. Okay.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
Don't get me started. Anybody? Okay, I am gonna be quiet and give you guys an opportunity to share.
I'll take the lead. One of the things that I'm excited about and I hint at in my chapter is a domestic NEO plan. And by that, I mean we as active duty members, we're required to have a family plan in the event of an emergency. And I created that for my family for my comfort after it was clear to me that my being a parent was not a high priority while wearing the uniform. But since then, I've also been involved in two emergencies. One in 2011, the Japanese earthquake and tsunami that left the country devastated was there. And I had an opportunity to observe families that did not have their stuff together. And we had children being handed off to complete strangers going to other countries without a plan. And I saw how my domestic deployment folder for my daughter would be very helpful in situations like that. I was in Turkey and all dependents had to leave in a state of emergency. Again, there was no plan. And so having something like that, now that I'm a civilian, I see that single parents, it's still really imperative that they have a plan in place, something whereby in the event of an emergency, their children know to grab this particular folder and go. And where they go, everything they need to set up a life at that new destination is all in that one place.
Well,
and that's one of the things that I desire to overemphasize as I have opportunity in my chapter of identity crisis.
and you know what? That is so important. One of the things I would love for you guys, I know you're here collectively right now, but what your stories and what you're doing to make a difference in people's lives, I would love for you to come back individually and talk about what it is that you're doing and how it impacts on lives. Because everyone should have a plan. And I would venture to say most of us don't. And so that would be a very interesting story and something to help people And so, Vaughn, you allowed us to kind of talk, and so I'm giving you the floor right now.
Well, again, thank you. I'm honored that these women trusted the process. I will announce that we are number one best-selling authors. This is my second volume, and each volume have made that ranking. And Vera, you and many others, and perhaps some in our listening audience, the other co-authors, our publisher that made that happen. I give thanks to God that we've made it that far. There are many things that worked against us, but we're used to the opportunities, the challenges to overcome. We know what it is to have endurance. I share very similar stories with many of my co-authors. So when they say I inspired them, I couldn't inspire them unless I had empathy with them. And because I shared very similar the homelessness, and I will say here, every purchase of the book, 10% goes back to Joy Restored Outreach. Joy Restored Outreach, which is that I oversee, founder and director of, and we have one facility in Dallas, Texas, where we do provide housing for unhoused female veterans with children. We're looking at one other property in the state of Arizona right now, and also we're rehabbing a property in St. Louis City. And I want to say this for our sheroes, for our family members that are listening. If you want to donate property, if you want to lease property, we need it. We absolutely need it because, as Juanita stated, there's the inequality, and I can say this: two women that I'm working with that are retired veterans, they are over the threshold for poverty. When you look at what the state housing authority says, if you make this much income, if you have a vehicle, if you own anything, they don't want you to have a savings account, checking account, a cell phone unless it's a government issued phone. So there are some parameters that force people to have those titles. And I can say that I was one of them. Without that experience, I wouldn't be moving the needle forward. That was my vow to God. When I secured permanent property, permanent home, and as Juanita said, that feeling of shame, that feeling as though you have failed. Well, I didn't become homeless because I failed. I purchased my first property in the United Kingdom, right in the area where Levita now resides. I also had a second property in Mississippi on the Gulf Coast that was destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. And so my outgo was to those two properties, even though the insurance was doing what they were doing, FEMA was doing their part, I still had to make good on those mortgages. And then moved to Texas, and that was a whole different story where I leased the property that was in foreclosure, and I didn't know it was in foreclosure. So I was forced out. But thanks be to God, Hurricane Katrina allowed me to be called on active duty with the Texas State Guard, where I served as an officer in security management. That allowed me to have that multiple income to secure housing for my children. But my vow to God was if I ever got the opportunity to change that trajectory of life for other females that had served our country. Let me say this: it's easy for our male counterparts to get housing because the majority of them are single. They don't have the responsibility of children, and especially young children. And so that whole dynamic is so very different. And so that and the retreats that we're offering every June, bringing recognition and honor to our Female Veterans Appreciation Day, which there are only 17 out of the 52 states that are now recognizing our day. Yes, we have a separate day. And that's the work that I'm doing. And I'm happy to, again, have these co-authors to trust the process. And thank you again, Ms. Vera. Thank you to our listening audience. And for those of you that desire to be a published author, international published author, well, we're going to have volume 3 because I've been told that this is a movement. But we're going to see what God has to say about it. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic back to you, Miss Vera, our host.
Oh my God, the work that you are doing, the work that you are doing, the need for the work that you are doing. Oh my God. You know, I realized I knew you were doing some good things, but since the last time you came on my show, you have expounded and expanded far more. So you're going to have to come back and talk about this as well. And right now, I need to take a few minutes to honor one of my sponsors. And so we'll be right back.
And media service business. We help entrepreneurs and startup businesses by providing them with beneficial coaching, resources, and visibility techniques to position their businesses online from their own homes. We assist businesses with influence building, podcasting, intentional coaching, training, media, visibility, connections, and monetization online. CTR Enterprises Network has a proven track record by directly impacting over 1,000 entrepreneurs worldwide. We are here to service you, and we can help. Contact us today by going to ctrenterprisesnetwork.com.
Reality today with Ms. Mac Marketing. 848-236-5026.
We're thankful for our sponsors, and we want you to look to perhaps supporting them as well. All right, now back to this show. Now, Chelsea, we haven't heard a whole lot from you, so I'm bringing you back, and I want you to just kind of share your heart.
Thankful to be here. I'm double duty. Oh, I got one little one coming right in. Hey, Louie. So I've appreciated the little bit of the radio silence. Shh, hey, I'm on this, guys. Okay.
Let her say hi. Say hi. Where is she? Hi. Hi. Okay, now. Okay. You unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. that was Louie, and okay. He is loving the winter snow right now. And then Henry's over here. He's doing some crafts. He got a little bit cold, so he had to come in. So I've been on and off camera a little bit, doing the mom thing.
Yeah, well, I understand. That's important. And where are you located right now?
I am in Clancy, Montana.
Oh, I'm getting shivers.
Yeah, we had teens here today. And I love it. I love having seasons. Seasons kind of goes with what I wrote about. The journey continues. Following the season of my military service, I spiraled out into I furthered on addiction. That addiction was there while I was in the military. I'd covered up those things that had happened to me, by drinking, by overworking out, really anything I could do to avoid myself. And I know that my story isn't unique. And that breaks my heart, right? To know that there are other men and women who have gone through the military sexual trauma and lost control of their lives. I was going to college. I dropped out of college that semester. I did get back up and go and finish my degree. And I still graduated, what would have been traditional, like 4 years after high school graduation, but I was just kind of on autopilot. And my story is a story of recovery and coming back from that. And I'm really grateful for the supports that have been in place that weren't there, 10 years ago, that weren't there 20 years ago, and that we can have these conversations, because these conversations is what changes the legacy moving forward. It's what makes serving in our ranks safer. And I appreciated what I think it was Juanita said about how we kind of took this vow of silence, and it wasn't intended, but it did happen that way, most definitely. And to be a part of a movement moving forward, saying that, hey, we are here too. These are the stories of what it's like for women. Sharing those stories don't just benefit women, it also benefits men. And it's when we can heal individually, we give permission for somebody else to heal and say, hey, it's possible. I'm here with you. And I remember, right? And the fact that we are still here, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to continue on. And I didn't believe that service ended when I took my uniform off. That oath and commitment to the country and the people of the country, that didn't go away. But I was humbled in a way, because I'd lost access to my natural abilities, that I had to just heal, and I had to accept help. Accepting help was a humbling piece, asking for it, and realizing that vulnerability is a strength. I still get uncomfortable when I'm being vulnerable, and that's okay. But every time I do it, I grow. And then I give somebody else permission to be vulnerable and have that same opportunity for growth. And that's where my heart and passion is. And I hope to raise my 2 young boys with a different mindset. Rape culture is real, not just in our military, but amongst our entire society.
Yes, it
And
is.
I just want that to change.
Yes. Having experienced that myself, the violation is just life-changing. And to have that experience in the military on top of that, my heart goes out to you. You guys got some powerful stories. I mean, I'm almost in tears back here, just these stories are just phenomenal. And but look at what God can do. Look at what God can do. And just like the book says, your trials became your triumphs. And now you can share with others to help make a difference in people's lives. And we are so grateful for that. Racism is alive and kicking, and it's everywhere, and so, but just so prevalent in this country, and understanding how hate is just one of those things that those who hate, they don't understand how impacting it is on their own lives, and I venture to say that people who exhibit that kind of venom have health problems. I'm willing to bet you every last one of them, including mental, but physical health problems. I'm willing to bet money on it, even though I don't have any to bet. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, oh my God. All right. I am going to now I want to say something about Montana. I'm glad you're there and I'm not. I hate cold weather with a passion. And I think Mitch Lynn does too, because she's now in Florida and she's from Montana. So um, you can have all the snow you want. Send me pictures because I don't like being in it. All right. That's just a little sidebar there. All right. So now I'm going to give each of you an opportunity. I can't believe the time went by so fast. Oh my God. We only have 10 minutes left. I'm going to give each of you a few minutes again to just share what it is that you want our audience to know, to learn, to feel. And I'm going to start with, I'm just going to go right up across this board. And Von, I'm going to have you deliver the last words, okay? Who left? Oh, okay. Chelsea left. Okay. So I'm going to start with you, Tanya.
Yes, I think the big take home message is, as women veterans, we're not walking around wearing our caps and our jackets. So it's inspiring to know that you can be amongst a crowd of women and never know that you're sitting amongst sheroes, because we don't share. And I am so thankful to Vaughn that she acted on the seed that God put in her to give us a voice, because our service is different than our male counterparts. Our sacrifice is different than our male counterparts. Though we share, but it's still different. And this gives us an opportunity to share some of that. So I'm so grateful. And I would just ask, my takeaway message is, ask amongst the women in your circle if anyone has served. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, whether it have been 2 years of retirement or however long. There are so many women that have served. And I want to give a shout out to the VA, who is making strides in acknowledging that and creating a safe place for us within the VA system. Thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Vera.
Thank you. Thank you. And Tasiki, she says, I celebrate your resilience and courage. You are all heroines in the making. Much love. And you guys are going to be on her show. Yes. All right. All right. Now I'm going to turn it to you, Juanita.
So I guess what I'm hoping is, I want to walk away with my story giving someone hope. We all join the military for different reasons, whether it is to change the image of a nation, whether it's to support, get an education, or really to defend our country. It is such an honor to be able to share your story with a group of women that aren't going to criticize you, that are going to empower you and elevate you. I'm hoping that when our sisters, our communities, our brothers read our stories, they realize that when they turned to the right and they turned to the left, it wasn't all men who were standing there supporting them. And when they were down, we were there extending a hand. I'm grateful for the opportunity just to step out of myself. And I hope that these women, my sisters in arms, step out of themselves as well. And what I mean by that is, don't allow society to stereotype you, put you in a box. And right now, we're your voices, hoping that you find your own. And that is really what my hope is. Right now, I know some of you don't have your voice, but you may not have it now. Read, be a lifelong learner and find your voice. Because when you tell your own story, it's a manual for someone else that you didn't even realize it was. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And you talk about your voice. There's actually a conference going on now called She Said Yes to Herself. Tomorrow is the last day. You guys might want to check it out. I'm speaking tomorrow, as a matter of fact. But yes, oh my God, so powerful what you both have said. All right, now Miss Levita.
Hi. Well, thank you. First of all, I want to thank Vaughn as well, because this is truly taking me out of my comfort zone and allowed me to stretch. And I also want to thank you, Miss Vera. I don't have the honor of wearing the uniform, but I do have the honor of saying that I served. There are times when as a military child and as a spouse of a military member, sometimes it's looked over and people may not realize that we are serving as well, because we are a part of picking up, moving from place to place, and our life, sometimes it's uprooted. I remember as a child being uprooted to go to another base, to another base, to another base. But we serve along with you all. And I want to say overall, we're not alone. And you're not alone. Whoever's watching this, we're not alone. Our voices matter. I want to also say that the more we speak, the more we share, the more information we could get out there. I think it's going to help stir up the conversation a bit more. And all for me is for the next generation, because we are in our fourth. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm in my latter years, although I'm over 50 and looking great and fabulous. I'm closer to on a ruler, I'm closer to 100 than I was, 10. And so it's time to provide and equip the younger generation.
Amen.
There's racism in my chapter. I specifically focused on racism on a military establishment.
Thank you.
But it is everywhere, and it's for the next generation to provide resources for them, because I didn't know what to do when it happened to me. And
I understand. Yes. Thank you so much. And I'm on the other side too. I'll be 69 on Thursday. So anyway, so I know I'm older than you, but that's okay. All right. So listen, okay. And I know we're running out of time. So let me bring up Mitchleen. Did I say it right that time?
Mitchleen, yeah, you got it.
Finally. Okay.
Listen to everybody's stories is I mean, just a snippet of it is very moving, and it's encouraging at the same time, because they look at their struggles as not a struggle, but an avenue of growth. And in my story, also in the first volume, which was called Torn Moccasins, is as a Native American, being raised in different types of institutions. I was a child that attended a residential school. My experience wasn't as severe as some of the former, but it's just the fact that it was tough. And it was ran by Catholics. And for the longest, in that residential school, because they were so stringent on us and they were very abusive to us, their thing was, God is love. And for the longest, I was angry at God, because how could you say God is love and then we're treated like this? Our language is stripped, our identity is stripped. And that's when I think from that point on, I was going to make it a point at any given time when I had the opportunity to make it known, Native Americans, and as a Native American child and a child of veterans, that we're still standing. Resilience for the Native Americans is at a high level. If you look at history, I mean, from the time, from the first landing or the so-called discovery of America, which was, history just kind of really twisted everything, which is not true. But this is where I look at Native Americans today, the progression that we have made, not only in the military, because we've used those skills and we brought it back to teach our young and our future generations. I do a lot of guest speaking to a lot of the schools, the Indian schools, and tell them to encourage them. One thing I always encourage is higher education. Like, I'm in my second master's in tribal law, and it gets rough. But the thing of it is, it's just in the military, we call it intestinal fortitude, to keep pushing forward. And with a woman, I don't think a man could ever level up to it, because we're beyond. I think we're way above them, because of the fact that what we've had to do to endure and surpass and break down those glass ceilings to make it a point that, hey, like, we can do it, and we can do it better, and we do it right the first time. So so it took me a long time to get back into a faith of God, because of what my experience was as attending a residential school, because I couldn't believe, how could a God put my people through so much and like turn his back on us? And it took a long time for me to trust a God that did that and allowed that. But you know what? I have to honestly say, I give true honor to God, because he's opened so many doors and made me belong to so many good families. Like I say, our sisters in arms. When we link up, there's nothing that can surpass us. And being part of this second volume and that anthology, God really brought Vaughn into my life for a very strong reason. And I'm really thankful for that, because she's been my inspiration. And there's been times when I was ready to just say, forget it. But she's that soft nudge. And like I say, God is good. Thank you, Vaughn. And you ladies are so remarkable. I can't wait to meet you all. And yes, I am a crier, and I'm a hugger.
So am I. And I'm about to cry up in here right now. I'm telling you, oh my God, this has been a beautiful show. You guys are beautiful women. Thank you so much for serving. And yes, we've gone over, but guess what? I don't care, because we still need to hear from Chelsea, and we need to hear from Vaughn. And I do not want to slight either one of them.
I just want to thank everybody for coming on. Going through this has been such an experience of healing. And when you read the book, seeing yourself in there in those unique roles of just all the women that persevered, right? My littles are still little, and you give me hope when you talk about speaking to the generation. So the next generations, I'm part of that. I'm trying to raise a different generation. So I'm very thankful to be a part of these conversations, to be heard, and again, offer that bit of vulnerability of speaking my truth, and that somebody else would be brave and know that they too could speak and not hold on to that. And part of that philosophy comes from a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it was written in the 80s. And it's just that our cellular memory holds on to the things that happen in us, and we can heal through and grow through what we go through. And it starts with the acknowledgement and being heard, and that I wasn't expecting. Being open to forgiveness for myself and others along the path, that is a grace and a gift, as was my faith. Amen. So to know that and to share that with others, my life was changed, right, through my hardship, that I don't want others to go through what I went through, but I still have an understanding that even today as I speak, there are still people that are just coming out of maybe a sexual assault, and I mean a rape, right? That's the harsh word, but that's what it is. And they're going to need that guidance and that light to say, hey, somebody else recovered, so that means that I can too. Amen. And I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for having us on here. And
thank you.
Technology letting me be a mom and still be out there. I'm very grateful for the patience, the perseverance, and that things weren't working right, but we still pulled through. And that really is just a testament to what we've done here in this book. Yeah. So
Yes.
I
God
hope people
bless
leave
you.
inspired.
Thank you. Oh my God. And thank you guys. Thank you so much for serving, for enduring, for lifting other people through your stories, and for being vulnerable, because to share your stories means you got to step outside of yourself. You got to step outside of your feelings, recognizing that I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this to help a nation, to help a people, to change a life. And I thank you guys. I thank you. I thank you. And I'm going to give the last word to Vaughn. And I'm going to ask you guys, if you don't mind, if you could wait a few minutes when this show, as the show is ending. I need to talk to all of you for a second. But Vaughn, I'm going to give you the last word. And when she's done, I'm just going to say goodbye. Thank you guys for listening. This will be replayed on podcasts and on Instagram and several other platforms. So your story is going to get out there. But I'm going to give Vaughn the last words. We've got a couple more comments that have come in. Angela Van, she says, good evening, ladies. Hello. And she says, awesome, Chelsea. Continue using your voice. Amen. Amen. All right. So, Vaughn, you have the last word.
Her War II wasn't just a thought. Her War II is a part of the pain that I endured. When I transitioned from the military, I didn't realize I had earned the title of veteran. And so I couldn't find a sisterhood. So out of my pain, this was begun. And now I am so happy to say I am sharing this journey with so many others. This book, this story, though they happened to us, they were not for us. We're leaving a legacy. If it happened to us, it should not happen to the generation coming behind us. It should not happen to those that are in the uniforms now. So I say, as I celebrate not only those sheroes, spouses, dependents of our female veterans, to those of you that are watching, that are listening, support a female veteran. Trust me, we're there and we are near. And I am one that proudly will wear daily some of my military regalia. And if you want to shop from my store, you can go to Griggs Gear. That's GRIGGS. And support by purchasing the book, or you can leave a donation at Joy Restored Outreach, where we're providing resources and permanent housing, not transitional, permanent housing for our unhoused female veterans with children. It's been my honor to serve in this capacity. God bless each and every one of you. Back to you, Miss Vera.
Thank you all again, and don't leave. Let me close us out. I thought I was going to have my theme song up, but I was intently listening and not paying attention. But here it is now, and I will see you all next week.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk